However, on this occasion, we will have the chance to speak with a player who was selected in the draft. I won't reveal his identity, but we'll have an autographed jersey up for grabs. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the show promises to be exciting. Major changes are coming to the roster under the leadership of Pete Carroll and John Spytek. Today's focus is on the 53-man roster from last season. Among those players, I'll mention a few who, in my opinion, won't be part of the team this year. I'll also review some athletes who made significant contributions as starters or in decisive moments last season, and whom I believe will not be on the roster this new season. To be honest, this could be a positive development, given how long I've been hosting this show. I insist that projecting a 53-man roster has become increasingly challenging, because for the first time in a long while, this roster is one of the deepest I've ever seen. This depth is a reflection of the work done by Pete Carroll and John Spy. First, I'd like to mention a few players from last season's roster whom I'm not sure will stick around in this new cycle. I'll also discuss their chances of remaining with the team, starting with running back Zamir White. We expected him to have a relevant performance last season. He even bulked up, and there were many videos of him having fun and putting in impressive workouts. However, the reality is that his performance fell short in various aspects. He carried the ball 65 times for only 183 yards. He was sidelined early and, frankly, did not prove to be an effective back. So what did the Raiders do? They signed Ashton Gentry and also locked up Raheem Mostert. I believe that if the front office had to choose between Sincere McCormick and Zamir White, even with McCormick still rehabbing an injury, I would go with McCormick. Therefore, in my analysis, I'd give Zamir White a 25% chance of making the roster this year. Perhaps he'll be more motivated, improve his ball security, or show special teams value. I can't guarantee anything, but for now, I'd say his odds are 25%. Moving on, we have Dylan Laube at running back. Those are the two backs who made the roster, in addition to the four who were on the team the previous season: Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, Zamir White, and Dylan Laube. I'm not certain if any of those four will be back. However, I believe Laube has the best chance among them. Madison, clearly, is no longer with the team, and Amir Abdullah remains a free agent. At this moment, I'd estimate Laube's chance of making the roster at about 55%. He didn't get many opportunities last season due to turnovers. When you're a rookie and you commit turnovers, it doesn't bode well for chances. He does bring special teams value. Although the Raiders added Tommy, last name unclear, I'd say Laube, as a 6th-round pick, still has a case to fight for a spot. Last season, he didn't see much playing time because of those turnovers. When you're a rookie and you turn the ball over, opportunities dry up. He brings a certain value to special teams, and while the organization signed a new player at this stage as a 6th-rounder from last year, nothing is guaranteed for him this season. Let's talk about a wide receiver next. It's known that the team made several additions at that position during the offseason, drafting 3 different athletes, but he possesses some of the athletic qualities the franchise has been seeking. I believe he won't be used as a receiver this season. No way. Others should assume the primary roles there, but he really does have value on special teams. You can't teach a 4.3 speed, and that's exactly what he has. Still, I only see a 10% chance of him making the roster. Last preseason, he was brilliant and explosive in that final exhibition game, earning his spot. Unfortunately, this current roster is even more talented. It's expected to be a deeper group of skill players. Now, let's discuss another athlete on the offensive line who is in the last year of his contract. He was chosen in the 7th round of 2022. The team currently has 8 offensive linemen. I can say with confidence that he's behind his peers right now, from the starters to other recent draftees. However, if the team decides to keep 9 linemen, that's when he could earn his place. He played in 11 games last season and allowed 5 sacks, struggling when asked to play tackle, which makes me question whether that justifies selecting others ahead of him. At this moment, I see his situation as a coin flip. If they keep 9, he'll stick around. If only 8, I don't think his chances are good. This makes me wonder if that's exactly why they opted for other players. Currently, I'd say he has a 50% chance of securing a spot on this roster. If the team does indeed carry 9 linemen, he has an opportunity. But if they stick with 8, his chances aren't strong. I invite everyone to ponder that. The question is whether he'll be one of the 53. The answer is yes if they keep 9, and no if they stay at 8. It's that simple. The reason I love raising this point is that if you're watching this breakdown in May, you're, in my view, a true enthusiast. The fact that we can debate the 9th spot on the offensive line is something only a real fan would be interested in. Let's move on and talk about some players from last year's roster who may not be around this year. Next, let's discuss a linebacker who logged 17 tackles, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for loss. This player was also drafted under the previous regime, but in terms of his skill set, he offers special teams ability and fits the profile the team is seeking this offseason, focusing on identifying athletes with extraordinary talents. He's incredibly skilled and saw more opportunities last season. Considering that, I estimate he has a 75% chance of making the roster, as he has potential to start. I could dedicate an entire segment to why he should be a starter. The only complication is that one could make a similar argument for other players we'll cover next. Moving on, we have another player selected in the 5th round last season. He didn't get many chances, mainly because of more experienced veterans ahead of him. Tommy Eichenberg, picked in the 5th round out of Ohio State last season, didn't see much action given the depth chart at the time. With that player gone, many fans, including myself, thought Eichenberg would step into his role if the veteran didn't return. I'm not sure that will happen, but I still consider him part of the group. I believe he has a 70% chance, given the various unknowns at linebacker. One thing is undeniable. Eichenberg lives and breathes football. He loves the game, and it's clear the organization recognizes that commitment. Now, let's shift focus to another linebacker, who I'm betting on as a starter this season alongside a teammate. That's because of what he's shown this offseason, the effort he's putting in, and what I've heard from other players wearing the C for captain. This linebacker is taking all the right steps, and I really believe he has a 75% chance of making the roster. That percentage is as high as another athlete who offers coverage skills many others lack. Furthermore, the selection of a new linebacker could impact Eichenberg more than the players mentioned earlier. Has some gaps. Also, I have questions about his special teams play, especially after the arrival of another standout special teams player. I believe someone else may shine there. He isn't the most agile, and at less than ideal height compared to other defenders, I question whether he fits the profile we want. For these reasons, I'd peg his chances at 20%. We'll cover more names soon. Before diving into those, I want to express my gratitude to an establishment that recently made a big difference for me. A friend and I went out for brunch after a hectic weekend, and I woke up Monday feeling under the weather. Luckily, I recovered quickly. Staying well hydrated is truly essential, whether you want to get the most out of a workout or bounce back from a long night. I actually rely on branched-chain amino acids more often than most think. Quite frequently, I join lively happy hour events on Thursdays and Fridays. How do you recover after enduring draft day multiple times? The answer lies in taking care of your body. Whether you need protein, pre-workout supplements, or greens, I can say that the supplement I depend on is a major reason I've lost 20 pounds over the past 2 months. It's helped me feel fit just as my wedding approaches in about a month. If you're also aiming to get in shape, there's a unique code available for a discount on a certain website, an opportunity to snag a great deal. Now, let's shift our focus back to some Raiders from last season who had chances to play, yet I'm skeptical about their odds of making the team. The first is a running back from Lock Haven. Among athletes, this one stands out as one of the better talents from that area, which isn't far from where I live. I even considered attending Lock Haven to pursue baseball. I'd estimate their odds at just 5%, since the Raiders may only keep 4 running backs. If this player can showcase exceptional special teams skills, that could change things. But if they can't prove special teams value, I don't see them making the roster. Next, I want to mention how a friend and I spent about 2.5 hours chatting recently. During that conversation, one friend jokingly said this player's name sounds like someone you'd hire a lawyer for, and I could see that being his focus this offseason. With 3 receptions for 38 yards, this player has shown resilience. When the Raiders signed him last May, I honestly doubted his chances of making the team, but he proved me wrong. That said, it's still hard for me to say he'll stick around. I'd put his odds at only 1%. Interestingly, I think I gave him a 1% chance last year as well. If he can defy the odds again, I wish him the best. Now, let's discuss another wide receiver. Over the past 2 years, I've maintained that he wouldn't make the team. With a fresh regime in 2023, I still have reservations about his prospects. He has some New England ties and solid skills, but he seems more suited for the practice squad. At 6'1" and 214 pounds, I'd assign him just a 2% chance of securing a roster spot, especially given other receivers with similar builds and skill sets. If you ask me to name a wide receiver who fits that description but genuinely has a better chance, I'd pick the first recruit Chip Kelly brought to UCLA, one of the Raiders' earliest acquisitions after Kelly was hired as offensive coordinator back in February. So, I stand by that 2% chance for the previous player. Looking ahead, in February, there will be deliberations about possibly signing Kyle Phillips. As for Wilkerson, his probability is only 2%. Moving to a less discussed name, this is a player I'll cover in an upcoming show. Information gathered over the weekend suggests that Thomas Harper is someone this organization values more than has been reported about Notre Dame players. Harper began his journey with Telesco last year, showing considerable potential with a 77 PFF coverage grade last season. With free safety being a current concern and considering Harper's versatility, I'd say his chance of making the roster is under 50%, estimating it at 40%. However, if he participates in May, June, and July workouts and proves he can play coverage safety, that could change the outlook. Jeremy Chin isn't a coverage-focused safety. Lonnie Johnson Jr. doesn't fit that role either, nor does Chris Smith Jr., who isn't an established coverage safety. The reality is, at this moment, there's no reliable free safety on the roster, which is a tough situation. I hope Isaiah Palmau can step up and challenge that perception, but I have reservations about his free safety ability. So indeed, there's an opportunity for Thomas Harper, one I'd place at 40%. Switching to defensive end, it's interesting to look at Charles Snowden. Snowden was an intriguing player to watch last season, always dedicated and ultimately part of the group, even if not one of the top 53. His effort stood out, especially given injuries on the defensive line. He recorded 39 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and started several games late in the season. However, the team brought back Malcolm Kuhn, and Tyree Wilson is still in the mix. Attention should also be paid to Andre Carter, who's competing, and undrafted free agent John Joyner, who's well-respected. Plus, at defensive tackle, there's uncertainty about Tonka Hemingway and whether he'll be considered an edge rusher. Numerous factors come into play. Snowden's odds of making the roster are around 45%, and it seems his future depends on him and Andre Carter. Additionally, this could be influenced by how the team evaluates its defensive tackles, since a source mentioned the organization holds Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuhn in high regard. They also have a positive outlook on Tyree Wilson, but excitement about defensive tackle rotations is notable. Initially, I thought the team might carry 4 edge rushers, an already small number if you consider a 10-man defensive line. I wonder if they'll opt for 3 edge rushers and 7 tackles, given some tackles versatility. Snowden's chances sit at 45%. The decisive day that could define whether he secures a spot may be July 22nd, related to his court case. There are more names to discuss soon. A father shared how he struggled to find a certain function. The solution is simple. You need to click on 3 small dots that are visible. That will open a menu, and then you click the button for a special thank you. Although everyone is busy, many want to join the show. So if you're interested in taking part, a $5 special thank you grants you entry. The winner will be announced at a later date. So far, we've received 9 special thanks and a significant number of supportive messages. This promises to be an exciting moment, and I hope we can do more initiatives like this in the future. Now, shifting topics, let's discuss Andre Carter, a defensive end. He's a remarkable athlete, and some believe he could have been a first-round pick a few years ago. His size, agility, and athleticism are impressive. I believe he and one other player will be among the best you'll see on the field, which could be decisive in determining who makes the team. I see Carter with a 50% chance of securing a spot, mainly because he doesn't face the controversies surrounding another player. Honestly, I think Andre Carter will surprise everyone this season. Next, let's focus on Matthew Butler, the defensive tackle. Butler was chosen in the 5th round from a prominent university a few seasons back and has dealt with several coaching changes. 2 years ago, when he was drafted, the team had concerns about Butler's passion for football. If he can't show genuine love for the game, his chances drop to 0. Moreover, other players have been added to the tackle group, highlighting a lack of confidence in some existing athletes. I wouldn't say his chances are completely negligible, but they're around 10% for Butler. He has support from teammates who noticed improvements in his play. That was mentioned last season, resulting in a temporary cut, but he managed to return. Sometimes you need a sign, and it seems Butler got that message. He also had his call up when the team opted to draft another player and still kept Butler. The road ahead is tough, but I believe he has potential. Another athlete worth highlighting is Zach Carter, a defensive tackle who came from another team. He piled up a decent number of tackles and sacks. However, it seems the new regime wants a younger roster. If Carter can show improvement and add some weight, I'd say his chances of making the roster are about 20%. Now, let's mention Sam Webb, who's impressed me in practice even though he's not a starter. Webb has stood out in various drills due to his constant effort, and that's undeniable. However, he lacks some of the athletic traits common among other players. At 6'2" and 195 pounds, many assume he's undersized. He brings a certain physicality, but the premium on long, athletic frames is crucial, and Webb has only average reach without all the ideal athletic traits. Because of that, I'd assign him a 20% chance of making the final roster. Finally, there's Kai Blue Kelly, a cornerback who could bring some useful skills to the nickel spot. He has various gaps in terms of athletic traits. For that reason, considering this factor, I'll give him a 20% probability of securing a spot on the Raiders' final roster. Additionally, the team might look to adapt one of its outside corners for the nickel role, similar to what happened with Nate Hobbs a few years ago. For Kai Blue, I'm also assigning a 20% chance of making the team. Once again, many players will get an opportunity, but unless they perform significantly better than last season, it's very likely that several athletes who contributed last year will not return this edition. In sum, throughout today's analysis, we've discussed around 17 players who played relevant roles for the Las Vegas Raiders last season, and I don't expect many of them to be chosen again. My intention with these observations isn't to show superiority, but to highlight that the team is moving forward favorably, and seeing more players mentioned in this context is, in my view, a positive sign. Just a reminder, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, we'll have a conversation with a Raiders player drafted this year, and an autographed jersey will be given away. If you're not subscribed yet, your chances of winning are 0. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Coach Pete Carroll, known for his sharp eye for talent and decades of experience in the NFL, didn't mince words when asked about rookie running back Dylan Laube. In a candid moment with the press following a training session, Carroll admitted he was surprised, and not in a good way, by Laube's performance so far. Frankly, I was a little shocked by how raw he looked out there, Carroll said, clearly disappointed. The technical level just isn't where it needs to be. Dylan Laube, who came into the league with high hopes and an impressive college resume, has struggled to adapt to the demands of professional football. While he was known in college for his agility and quick decision-making, those attributes haven't translated effectively in Carroll's eyes. The speed and physicality of the pro game have exposed flaws in his technique, particularly in his footwork and blocking assignments. He's got athleticism, no doubt, Carroll added, but the NFL is a different animal. You can't rely on raw talent alone. Laube's situation underscores the steep learning curve many young players face when making the jump from college to the pros. For Carroll, who has coached and mentored some of the league's top talents, effort and potential are important, but not enough without the fundamentals. We're going to keep working with him, the coach stated, making it clear that the door isn't closed. But he has a long way to go if he wants to earn a spot on this team. The statement sent a strong message to the rest of the roster as well. In Carroll's system, performance and preparedness are non-negotiable. Laube now finds himself in a critical moment. Either he rises to the challenge, refining his game and proving he belongs, or he risks falling behind in one of the most competitive environments in professional sports. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.